What's up, everybody? Hello? There's nobody here.
Yeah, that's all right. We'll even if we don't have anybody, we'll clip this out. We can put it on YouTube, make them watch it later. All right, let me get this started.
Make
So
them watch it later.
first, yeah, LOL. That's what we're talking about. First things first. Last week's results, we had a really crazy first day. It's in the little headliner at the bottom, but Golden Guardians.
No, crazy second day too, actually.
Yeah, crazy second day too.
Both
Yeah,
pretty crazy.
but the first
Crazy
day,
weekend.
I think me and you. Let me pull this up. We did better than the casters. At least I did. We did. Yeah,
They got one.
They went one. They went 1 in 5. You got 2 in 5, or 2 out of 5, and I got 3 out of 5 on the first day. So
you picked clutch over TSM. Which TSM should have won. Obviously, you saw the game.
Yeah,
they should have won.
That was just a throw. But first things first, I want to correct something. Last week we said Xmithy was on Challenger last year. He was on Immortals, but what we meant to say was he was so bad on Immortals that it was like he was on Challenger. I'll just say that.
Oh.
But yeah. So
yeah, that sounds right.
So when we're looking at last week, the biggest, of course, surprise was the clutch over TSM. Other than that, everything was kind of regular. I mean, Golden Guardians did win their first game last week, but it was nothing really too crazy. Is there anything specifically that stood out to you
for last week's game? This weekend?
Yeah.
Yeah, everything.
Everything?
Well, pretty much. So
like some teams did really bad, some teams did good. Like
it was pretty much all upsets the first day.
Mm-hmm.
TSM should have beat Clutch but lost, but that's just I think that's TSM getting into their that's a little bit of a shine still because they won 2 last week, and then even losing the Clutch, it just shows that they had a good game. They're gonna keep playing better. C9 over Liquid was also an upset, but since me and Fantasy are C9 fans,
we picked that one.
Chose C9, but it was still an upset.
You could say it was an upset, but I don't think it looked like one.
Well, it's an upset because all the odds makers had Liquid, all the casters had Liquid. Liquid was supposed to win that game, even though they're both 5-1. The main theory was that Liquid was a better team, but I think C9's a better team. That's why we picked C9. We think they're a better team.
Well, I mean, a little
CLG
bias
was pretty big too, because Optic hasn't won hardly.
Oh God, yeah, but then you got to think about TSM and CLG have been, even though you can say that takes some time to get cohesion, but they've been underperforming for the most part at the beginning of this split, even for normal splits. And we all knew that it would kind of take some of these new teams some time just to get a little bit better as they start to work together. So if TSM and CLG didn't up their game faster, it was about time that one of the lower teams that was kind of there would, get a little bit more cohesion, get better.
Had a good-looking team.
Yeah, they're getting better.
We'll see how Optic goes. I think CLG had a bad game and Optic had a good game there too. The other one, I think the 100 Thieves FlyQuest game, we gave it to 100 Thieves right away. However, I did not know that
Fly was coming back.
To mid.
Nobody
did. They
were
playing Anda instead of Shrimp. So, also on our fantasy league, I just picked up Fly, so he's on my starting roster. I started him over Caps because they're not looking too good.
No,
I also
should have pulled
team Echo Fox. Nobody had Echo Fox as their team, so I dropped Misfits and picked up Echo Fox as a team.
I have their players. I have a few of their players, but I don't have their team. No.
Somebody dropped Adrian, and I picked up Adrian too.
Ah, shit. See, I got All-Tag or Phoenix. Those are the only 2 that I need. But that was. I don't know. It was very weird. Let's see. Did 100 Thieves? No, 100 Thieves didn't win any game this last weekend.
No. And here's the funny thing with that too, with that week, Echo Fox against Golden Guardians. You asked me last week if I think they're gonna go 0-18, and
you said they might win one game later on in the season.
No, I said they were gonna win one. I said they were gonna win one. They're gonna go against Optic or one of these lower tier teams, and they're gonna beat them, right?
Yeah.
But after the first 5 minutes of the Echo Fox game, I was like, they are gonna go 0-18. That was my thought, and then they started coming back, and I was like, now Echo Fox looks like ass. Golden Guardians are looking good. Then I was like, they're gonna win a game. They might even win the next game.
Yeah, this is I love this clip.
they win the next game.
Yeah, I love this clip. This is actually, I have it clipped out at the end where it shows High smiling face. But yeah, that's one of those things where I'm just like, but it pulls you into the next conversation where it's like Echo Fox, yes, they have a somewhat dominating record right now, but their dominating record doesn't look like it should be that dominating. Like their games are always weird, like they shouldn't win. They don't have a lead, or they get a lead, then they lose it, then they somehow win still. It's just this weird.
Well, so the thing with them was they looked bad against Golden Guardians, which said a lot about Golden Guardians being better, but it also made me think Echo Fox is not doing too well. But then they go the next day against Liquid, and you're like, oh, Liquid's just going to smash Echo Fox. Did you see how they looked against Golden Guardians? And then they go and beat Liquid. Bad. So just the whole thing, TSM, CLG. I picked TSM, you picked CLG, but that went CLG probably should have won with how they've been playing, but TSM has been, if it was like the first week, TSM probably loses, but CLG's playing worse, TSM's playing better. Golden Guardians beat 100 Thieves, which is huge. C9, we knew they'd be, I think C9 is the only team that is standing up and being like, none of their games are like, oh, they don't look that good this game, or
like,
oh, they're gonna lose
they're
this game.
controlling, dominating wins.
Yeah, they look a lot better than Echo Fox, even though they have the same record now.
Yeah.
C9 looks better than Echo Fox for sure, and hopefully there'll be a game between them
next
week or the week after.
TSM is actually, that's later on, moves me into the our next.
Well, one more thing on there. Optic and Clutch. I think Optic started the game up 2-0 or 4-0 or something like that, and then Clutch came back on them.
Yeah.
So I think Clutch is just a better team. I mean, they went 2-0 against TSM, which is a big win, and then Optic they should beat, but I think those teams are really close, and Clutch proved that they're better than Optic.
Yeah, so that moves me into the next conversation. So I wanted to start off. So we have C9. They're looking very dominating, very controlling in their wins. They're doing very well. It's not none of this Echo Fox. It's like, well, should they have won? It's like, okay, Cloud9, they won that. They deserved it. So that kind of brings me to this weird top lane meta. There's been a lot of interviews I've seen where you ask Cooney, you ask Impact and Flame and all of them. They're like, well, I don't know. I just play whoever the hell I want to play. You know, it's not like top lane actually affects the map. So I wanted your perspective. Do you think top lane has an effect on the map? What do you think of the top lane meta right now with like Vlad and Gangplank and Gnar is like the main top played champions right now?
Well, they say it doesn't have an effect on it. I mean, that's definitely wrong depending on what champion you play with. With GP, just the ult is big enough to affect a bunch of stuff on the map.
Yeah.
That just as ult is big enough to affect stuff on the map, then Gnar, if you teleport with a full Gnar bar, knock people into all that. But the effect that they have on the map is split pushing and pulling people. But the problem is you split push, the other top laner just comes in 1v1s, and they leave it alone. In pro play, it's like, okay, we're top until both turrets are gone. All right, now let's go both go bottom while my team plays around Baron.
Mm-hmm.
So they have the same effect as the other person has, and whoever gets ahead kind of wins. I mean, top lane might be the most influential in that, because if you get so far ahead to where the other top laner can't match you in bottom lane, then they have to send more people down there.
Yeah, and that just creates a massive offset on the map.
All the top laners are so close in skill level that almost never happens.
Which is why I brought up this graphic, because the big thing they were saying was, okay, maybe we can see Zig at the bottom, right? But then this whole Zig and Solo, you can say, might be at the bottom. Or, by the way, I don't think this is organized in any specific order.
Yeah, I was gonna say this isn't.
Oh, it's organized. This is organized by KDA. Sorry, KDA. So some people would put Solo and Zig at the bottom, but then other than that, you have this giant little mix of who do you think is the best. And the biggest thing we were seeing was C9 lost the offseason. They lost Impact. They had to get this weird guy named Licorice. They're going to fucking dumpster, because if they don't play around top lane, they're going to get destroyed. Doesn't matter if Jensen does good. And now we're seeing Licorice contending, and
he's doing fine,
Top Die kills Impact last week. So I just wanted to pull up another graphic that's specifically about Licorice. These are his last two games. He played both games on Vladimir, and very dominating in the first game. The second game against GP didn't look too good on his part, but he is, still a rookie, and you could see a little bit of the unsurety.
Well, he had a better game on the second game, 5-1-4 instead of 4-2-4.
But his laning phase,
KDA was bigger.
His laning phase was bad. Like, he was getting destroyed in lane by the GP in the second game.
It's funny because they were both GPs.
Yeah.
But one's against Impact and one's against Flame. Impact is definitely a better player.
Yeah, but he's
than
not.
Flame
But
also.
Impact's not a better fighter or bruiser player. Impact's a tank player, not a GP player.
Well, he still beat him anyway.
Yeah, that's true. So
well,
then
not beat him, but he still did better than Impact did.
he did.
On the
He
same
did.
champion. But that still has to do a lot with still has to do a lot with jungle pressure and other stuff that happened in the game. So you can't really take
Yeah.
him as the same thing. He built the exact same items.
He did. Yeah, he did.
In his build.
He was
except having a
behind.
blasting wand
Yeah,
in the
behind a
first game.
blasting wand in the second game. Because you can see though, if he's behind a blasting wand, maybe he had a little bit. He does have a little bit less money in the second game, so he wasn't getting as much lane dominance.
I'm sure his kills and assists went up later in the game.
Yeah. But no, it's just it brings me that same narrative. Like I'm saying, everybody thought that Licorice was the weak point of C9, and we're not seeing this. C9's picking to him, making him the focal point. Whereas, with a rookie, you don't want them to be the focal point of your team because they don't understand the scene yet. They're very nervous. You don't know if you can trust them, so you don't want to put the whole game on the line to them. But C9's like, you know what? We trust this guy. We're going to put the game on the line. We're going to make him the big deal. We're going to give him the winning matchup, and he should win.
Yeah, they kind of have to do that. They can't. If you're going to be on a pro team, you can't make it to where it's like, okay, we got to hold his hand or we got to not worry about him. Like, you have to just make it like he's part of the team and not any different from anybody else. The big thing with top lane is, depending on your champ selection, is how much time the jungler's going to have to spend there. If you have a good enough top laner where you can just stand on his own, still CS, if he gets ganked, not get ganked, and be fine, then you're going to do a lot better. The thing is, in NA, there aren't very many tank top picks. You're not seeing, like in EU, you're not seeing a lot of Ornn getting picked or a lot of Maokai getting picked. You're seeing a lot of Vlad, GP, like you said, and a lot more people that you can go up there with the jungler and you need pressure. But if you fail that, then your other lanes get hurt by it because while you're ganking top, they're ganking bottom. And if you don't get anything out of top, they'll probably get something out of bottom. So
Which
your top laner is good enough. And that's the thing, like you're looking at the top laner graphic, they can all hold their own. I mean, even the game that Golden Guardians lost, the first one, Lorlo got smashed because he kept getting ganked over and over and over. And the main reason they were coming back is because he started making plays elsewhere on the map. And that's how he got his gold and brought him completely back in the game because he's playing a Camille who can do that. And Lorlo's a good player too. And you have to think, if they didn't spend so much time top there to knock Lorlo down, and if Lorlo played a tank or something like that, where the game would be instead, or if Lorlo was able to get more pressure from his jungler and they didn't get that far behind in the first place. So, not sure.
But looking into this next week, it's interesting to look back at the standings. So, like we were saying earlier, we got Echo Fox tied with C9 at the top of the standings, but Echo Fox wasn't looking that commanding in their wins. We got Team Liquid's got a solid third place. They got that locked in tight for now, unless another team beats them out. But like I was saying before,
right there, 100 Thieves, Clutch, and TSM.
Yeah, that middle 100 Thieves. I said this jokingly, I think a little bit while I was watching the games. Is like, now I look at it, I think Golden Guardians is going to be 9th, 100 Thieves 10th.
I don't think they'll drop that far, dude. I think they'll make some adjustments and be all right. But the thing is, in there, you look at it like, okay, Clutch beat TSM. Clutch beats 100 Thieves. TSM 100 Thieves. I think TSM beat 100 Thieves last week, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, who's 100 Thieves beating now? They lost to FlyQuest there.
But they beat Echo Fox.
100 Thieves?
Yes, they beat Echo Fox. That was Echo Fox's first loss.
Yeah, but that was like first, second week. That was less recent. That's when it's in the downfall of 100 Thieves, basically.
Yeah, we're in a new stage, the new era. We're approaching actually the first round robin completion week. The first day, I think there's a couple teams that are playing again for the second time on the first day, but everybody should be playing everybody by the end of this week, and then starting the next round robin on Sunday. But yeah, so it's
I'd
just
say so. The main thing we're looking at is the top 6, right?
yeah.
Cloud9, Echo Fox, Liquid, they're staying top 6. I don't see them falling any lower than top 6.
Mm-hmm.
So that's top 3. So 3 teams out of those other 8 is
Yeah.
really difficult to say. FlyQuest can make their way up with Fly back and Anda playing well. They can pass CLG, Clutch, and 100 Thieves.
Yeah. Do you
And
think
that puts them in there.
I don't think Optic's gonna make it in. But do you think they can surpass one of those other teams like 100 Thieves or CLG?
I mean, Optic might be able to beat 100 Thieves, CLG. Here's the thing: it's only
I know we're only what is
so
it?
we're
So many
8
games
games
in.
in. So there's 8 games left.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's 8 games left, which means Golden Guardians is possible to go 9-7. However, with who they have to play in the near future,
There's
it's
a
gonna be rough.
I think
They'd be. I think Golden Guardians has a better team
there's 10 games
than
left. Sorry, there's 10 games.
10 games left.
Yeah, 18 game season.
Okay. I mean, I think Golden Guardians has a better team and can play better than Optic, Clutch, CLG, but they've already dug themselves into this hole. So I think they're staying down there, and they have really tough competition if they're gonna have to
But
play Cloud9, Echo Fox, Liquid, TSM all again. And I don't think they beat any of those teams. I don't know if they beat FlyQuest now. That would be
yeah,
a close game.
let's see. I'm trying to find this.
So I mean,
I'm trying to see because
yeah,
I'm trying
I'd
to see
say
because there's a definite chance that if Optic loses a game or loses this weekend and Golden Guardians wins one more game, they could be tied up for that 10th place spot. So I just kind of wanted to see
well,
what.
here's the question: Who in the? I mean, we already have our answer pretty much, but who in
Mhm.
those top 6
Yeah,
drops out of the top 6, and who in those bottom 4 moves up in the top 6?
FlyQuest moves up and 100 Thieves drops out.
That's what I'm thinking too.
That's exactly yeah.
The only other thing I could see happening is Clutch dropping out and CLG taking their spot. That's the only other one I see as a possibility, but Clutch is looking pretty good too.
Yeah, Clutch is looking. I think Clutch and CLG will be a good match when they play. Like that'll be that Clutch, CLG, and TSM. Those are very competitive matches. FlyQuest will be throwing wrenches in there too, jumping up for that 6th place spot. But ultimately, I would give it to Clutch. They were looking more cohesive. They look a little bit better trained right now. I don't know why, but it just seems like CLG doesn't quite have their grip this season just yet. But you know what I'm saying?
But CLG has had some good wins too against better teams. So
First game of next. This is
something we'll see
first game of next week.
next week.
Is Optic versus Golden Guardians. So if Golden Guardians wins that, they're tied for 10th place. If they lose, then that kind of puts them far behind Optic. But Golden Guardians has this chance to say, "Hey, I'm not the only one in last anymore. I'm not the fucking Optic. Come join me at the bottom."
That's only gonna last. Well, it'll last for probably the weekend because Optic goes against FlyQuest. And FlyQuest should win, and Liquid goes against Golden Guardians, and guess what's going to happen that game?
So wait, but they still be tied then. They'll still be tied for
that's what I said. So that's what I meant. So they'll get it. They'll keep it over the weekend.
Yeah.
But, so we can go into our predictions here for each match.
So yes, week 5 schedule.
Optic against Golden Guardians. I'll tell you, Optic is going to be the favorite.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Golden Guardians wins that one.
I want to.
I like Golden Guardians.
Yeah, I'm gonna root. God, that's hard. Cause being an analyst or being somebody who wants to look at the numbers, Optic, you want to say Optic because they should win, but then your heart's like, Golden Guardians just win this goddamn game. God damn it.
I think they win, man. I think they win.
So just because I like to keep this competitive, I'm gonna say Optic, so that way one of us is right.
Keep it competitive. I'm going for the upset. The winner, you can go with me on that one, but
we'll see.
I can tell you on DraftKings.
This would give you the chance to even up since I won last week.
There you go.
Yeah, this will give you a chance to even up.
Keep a running score of it. So for day 1, I'll tell you the favorite. Optic is over Golden Guardians, but not as heavy of a favorite as two other teams. So there are two other games that are more favored in, and before this week, any team that went against Golden Guardians was the favorite, overall favorite among any game.
Mm-hmm.
So Golden Guardians moved up a little bit in that world, or Optic moved down. One of the two.
One of the two. Actually, Optic did good last week. They won a game. So
yeah.
They don't think they moved down. I think they kind of stayed even. Golden Guardians moved up.
That sounds right. So C9 TSM.
That's gonna be it's gonna be hype, but I don't think it's gonna be too much. I think
it's always been a rivalry, and I think TSM is playing better. I think it's going to be a close game. It's going to be one that TSM really wants to win. I think TSM does have a good chance to win it, honestly, because I know how much they're going to put on the game. Having said that, I pick C9.
Yeah, it's free SM. We are a C9 channel here, guys. So if you get annoyed, just don't care. Yeah.
And then, so C9 is actually less favored over TSM than Optic over Golden
But that just, I feel like that's just like the TSM fan, like that's just their lean. Like there's probably somebody working for DraftKings who's a TSM fan. Is like, I want TSM to win.
I think they know that the lineup they have is big and how many points they score and different stuff like that. So I think that they keep TSM up there because the team has the potential. So they think, but TSM the first few weeks was always favored. They were favored to win every game, and now they're not favored.
I'll give you this stat. Mike Young has not won one game against Svenskeren ever.
Oh, well, that's because Sven was on TSM.
Yep, but it's still a stat. It's still a stat, though. It's still a stat.
Still a stat.
So yeah,
so,
I think.
So we're both picking TSM there, yeah.
Oh,
this next one's a little bit difficult.
I'm picking C9 there. I don't know what you're talking about.
We're both picking C9 there.
Yeah, so the next one, you're right, is very difficult because Clutch is looking really good from last week. Fly is looking really good from last week. We just talked about how we think Clutch can hold its own versus a lot of those middle tier teams, and that FlyQuest has this upward trend that they're going to compete with those middle tier teams. So this will kind of be that decider to kind of say, is FlyQuest up to the challenge? Can Clutch hold their spot? I don't know. Let's figure this shit out. So who would you go for and why?
I'm going to take FlyQuest because I think they're rejuvenated from their wins last week. Having Fly and Anda there, their confidence is a lot higher. Clutch is doing better, but they haven't looked. Clutch hasn't looked really clean or amazing in any of their games, and FlyQuest looked really good in their games also. And I'll say the DraftKings has Clutch over Fly, but it's the closest game.
Yeah, I'll say like FlyQuest looked a lot more dominating in their game last week than Clutch did. Clutch, their games they were kind of, well, should they really have won that? Was it just Apollo like stealing shit that really won them the game? So I'd have to give it over to FlyQuest for gameplay. They looked a lot better last week than even in the wins than Clutch was. So you saying Fly too?
Yep.
Fly high with that Fly. Wait, hold on. Oh damn, it doesn't sound right now. So you got last year we had Fly high, and now we have Fly in the mid lane.
Yeah.
So, all right. So it's not the last game, but the fourth game of week 5, day 1. 100 Thieves, Echo Fox. Echo Fox.
Neither of us has any confidence in 100 Thieves whatsoever.
Not anymore. Not anymore.
Echo Fox. No, not at all.
No.
And that is the heaviest favorite. Beating 100 Thieves.
All right.
And then the next one is the second heaviest favorite, Liquid and CLG. Liquid coming off the loss, probably gonna want to redeem that some.
Yeah. Liquid's coming off that loss, but then did CLG went 0-2 last week as well.
Yeah.
So they're both gonna be looking for a win.
Yeah, but CLG isn't as good of a team, so if two teams are looking for a win, the better team's gonna get it. So
I give that to you. That makes a lot of sense. So yeah,
I'm taking Liquid on that one, and that's, like I said, the second heaviest.
I'll take your judgment on that as well. All right.
So you only disagreed on the first one because you wanted to be different. Now here's the thing: I don't want you to just want to be different on any of them. I want you to want to beat me. So if you're picking that to beat me, cool. But if not, better
Well,
get your shit right.
it's a little bit of both. Like, I want to be different, but being different also allows me to beat you and get an extra point above you if you lose. But it also gives you that opportunity for us to be competitive and possibly match my score. So,
Okay.
moving on to the next week, we have Clutch versus TSM. So this is what I was saying. So the second half of the round robin, they just played last week. TSM's going to have a chance to redeem themselves. Can they? Do you think? Can they make it so they don't have fuck up mistakes again?
I'm giving it TSM. I know they want to beat them.
After last week, I would. God
I know
damn.
they really want to win after that loss, and they already look good against them.
Yeah.
And they're gonna work on what happened.
Yeah, that would tilt me. I would like turn off League of Legends and go play Counter-Strike for all night until I release and stream shooting people.
They might have. You never know. It's very possible.
So yeah, we're gonna give that one to TSM. TSM meet as well. That just makes sense.
Every game here is interesting.
Honestly. Yeah, at the bottom half. Yeah.
No,
so
yeah, the second day is going to be very interesting.
We're gonna skip over the Echo Fox Cloud9 game. We're gonna touch that just a little bit later. So talk about all the other other three. Yeah. So the 100 Thieves and CLG. Like I said, it's that same middle tier shit.
Very well, this is so. Clutch TSM are both 4-4. 100 Thieves CLG 4-4 and 3-5. So it's very close. 100 Thieves is on a downtrend, but so is CLG. So that one is very difficult for me to actually pick a winner.
I'm gonna call 100 Thieves just because the biggest thing that I'm seeing is that 100 Thieves, although they're not playing well, their cohesion is still there. When they're fucking up together, and when they're doing good together. CLG has the skill of all the other teams, but they lack that aggressive shot caller that Afromu was, and I feel like they're very stagnant in a lot of plays, and they're not being very proactive like they were when they had Afromu. And I don't think they have that person, like with TSM, they don't even have a person who can stand out and make that definitive voice, like, we're going to fucking do this, like a high, let's jump into this team fight, and I don't give a fuck if we get fucked up, we have a high chance of winning the game off of this fight.
Now, do you have who won last time? Because we know Clutch beat TSM last week. CLG and 100 Thieves played each other. All these teams played each other.
Yeah, second day already should have already played each other. So 100
CLG,
Thieves. 100 Thieves. Let's see.
100 Thieves won.
100 Thieves did beat CLG last time. Yes.
Yeah. I'm gonna go CLG on that one.
I'm gonna go 100 Thieves. I feel like they're gonna play better as a team.
All right.
So that's another difference right there. We'll see. That's going to be a very interesting game. Like, I'm actually hyped watching this. I'm getting ready. I'm like, oh, God.
This one's going to be close, too. FlyQuest against Optic is same deal. It's the same deal. They're both that bottom tier, but
3-5 to 3-5 Fly versus 2-6 Optic. If Optic was to let's say Optic was to win against Golden Guardians the day before, and Fly was to win against Clutch or lose against Clutch, they're on that lines for a tie, where Optic could be taking FlyQuest's spot and moving closer to that mid-pack season.
Yeah. So but I see FlyQuest beating Clutch already, then Clutch just beat Optic. So I'm going FlyQuest on that one.
Yeah, just like the ladder down, and that on the ladder down that makes sense. But as I proved you wrong last week, there is no ladder down, Kevin. You asked me why I took Clutch or why I took CG over TSM. Or it was not TSM, but I took CG over... Who did I take CG over last week?
Optic.
I took CG over Optic, but then I took Optic over CLG. You're like, that doesn't make sense. CG lost to Optic last time. But what are you talking about? This is like this weird triangle. I'm like, it doesn't make sense, but it's going to work. And it worked, okay? So...
Okay, so you're taking Optic here.
Yeah, I'm going to take Optic as well here this time again. Because it doesn't make sense. League does not make sense.
We already have FlyQuest on the uptrend taking the spot in the middle, and they have to beat the teams below them to be able to do that. So FlyQuest is winning that game.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you.
Yes, but I disagree. I agree to disagree. I agree that what you're saying has merit, but I disagree.
Echo Fox C9 is the game after that.
All right, so skip over that. Liquid versus Golden Guardians. What do we think?
Oh, you want to come back to that because you love C9 so much.
No, that's the first place match.
That's true.
We think
But
Echo Fox is going to beat 100 Thieves. Cloud9 is going to beat TSM, we think. Or we hope.
That one's going to be closer.
Yeah.
Echo Fox against 100 Thieves might end up being close too, because Echo Fox hasn't looked that great. 100 Thieves has just looked worse, but 100 Thieves was doing really well at the beginning. It's possible to go the other way, but I think Fox will definitely take that one out. But you want to go Liquid Golden Guardians first?
Yeah, Liquid Golden Guardians first.
Now Echo Fox losing or beating Liquid, and then Golden Guardians having such a good game against Echo Fox is what makes this an interesting game.
You could see the upset, couldn't you?
You can see an upset,
but I don't think it's going to happen.
You have Lorlo against
Impact,
which is going to be good. You got Contracts against Xmithy. And Contracts, if he focuses Lorlo up and makes Impact have a bad game, it's possible to go the other way. Double Lift and Ale should shit on Deftly and Matt. But Deftly and Matt have been surprising. They've actually been the ones to keep the game. They kept the game going against Echo Fox. And they are the kind of the reason they won the second game also.
So yeah, I watch a lot of content on YouTube during breaks that I get throughout the day, and there's a joke through the LCS players right now that Golden Guardians fucked up because when they got Deftly and Matt, they thought they were going to get Deft and Mata, but there was a mess up in the translation, so they got this shitty duo.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you're saying, they did look really well last week. They're doing a lot better. I think it just took time for them to get together. But I think
we'll see as that progresses. Honestly, I feel bad picking Golden Guardians against anybody except like the bottom three and maybe 100 Thieves.
Yeah.
But if they come and get 2 wins, beating Optic and then beating Liquid, you can see them really moving. I had predicted Golden Guardians being in the top 4 before the season started, just seeing their team comp. Mm-hmm. So I just like a lot of the players that they have, and I think they're good. And they got high for the shot caller. I like Golden Guardians as a team. I'd like to see them do better, but I don't think they're going to beat Liquid there. So I'm going to take Liquid on that. I'm assuming you're going to follow suit.
Well, I'm just going to, I'm going to take Liquid. It's too dominating to look at that and say that they're going to lose.
Yeah, that's probably the biggest. If DraftKings had it updated, I'm assuming that's the biggest the biggest differential.
So moving into that, I have this set up as the matchup of the week. Cloud9 versus Echo Fox. Cloud9 fans, raise your hands. But 2 first place teams, based off what we say from the first day, they should still be in first place, tied, going into the second day. So this would decide. As of right now, Echo Fox is Cloud9's only loss. So right now in head-to-head, Echo Fox is winning. So for Cloud9 to even, if they were both in first after the first day, to even compete for that first spot going into playoffs with Echo Fox, they would have to win this game. They would have to win this game, and then. Well,
no, they'd have to be tied after the entire thing.
Yeah, they'd have to be tied after the entire thing.
Yeah, if Cloud9 has a better record, they're still gonna go.
Yeah, but they'd have to be tied after the entire thing. But I'm saying if they were tied after the entire thing, this match is the match that decides who actually has that first spot in head-to-head matchup. So.
Yeah.
That's why I called this one. And then just looking at this, so we have seen this before. Licorice, I feel like, is ever improving. Hooney feels like he's in this stagnant stage where he's still carrying, but he's not quite getting better. As the weeks progress, where we see, somebody like Solo, who played amazingly last week. Licorice, these people who are hungry for more time and more show, some days been doing pretty shit. So Hooney's, I feel like he's like, oh yeah, I'm the best, but I'm staying here at the top as the best. Everybody can catch up to me because I'm not going up myself.
Yeah.
And then we got Spencer versus Dardoch in the jungle. I don't know who I would give that to.
Spencer has had a mediocre season still.
Mm-hmm.
He's had good games, bad games, but it feels like they're winning because the rest of the members on the team, and Sven has not as much to do with it as Dardoch does for Echo Fox. I think Dardoch definitely has more influence on their wins than Svenskeren has had for Cloud9's wins.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd give that to Dardoch doing more work for the team.
Yeah.
And then you got Jensen against Phoenix,
So.
which I don't know. Jensen's always been. I think he's always been a really good mid laner. And what was his other name? He went by another name, 2 years ago?
I can look that up, but
What was his name?
I can't remember. I do know that he got banned, like permabanned from League of Legends for almost 2 years, and then as soon as he came off, Cloud9 pulled him back up.
Him being super toxic and all that stuff, and I
He
remember
still
seeing
is.
his Vigar at Worlds.
He still is.
and
He threw away
doing
his
really well.
he threw away his gum into a recycling bin this weekend, and it was all caught on camera. But he even said, "You can't prove it. You can't prove it. I'm innocent until proven guilty, man."
Well,
So
yeah, he's a good mid laner. He's just a dick bag.
Incarnation. He played for the first. Yeah, he first season when he was on C9. Yeah, he ever played. He was Incarnation, and then he changed his name to Jensen.
Yep, I remember that. And I remember seeing him as Incarnation. I was like, oh, Cloud9 got a new mid laner. It's Jensen. But then I found out it was the same dude.
Same guy.
I was actually happy about that because I was like, that Incarnation dude was a beast.
Yeah.
So seeing that was good.
He was actually supposed to take. Funniest thing, if you look at it, if he wouldn't have got banned, he would have probably taken Bjergsen's spot.
Yeah.
Because he was actually he was getting scouted before Bjergsen was, and they're both around the same age, both Danes, both in the European scene. Jensen actually had a higher spot in solo queue at that time than Bjergsen did, but he was toxic as fuck.
Yeah.
So
I still give it to Jensen beating out Phoenix. I think Phoenix has been having really good games, but he just hasn't stood out for me in a lot of games. He hasn't looked amazing. I think he's done well, but I've never been like, yo, that Phoenix is a monster.
I'm gonna go ahead and say bottom lane, Cloud9 win. I don't think Altec and Adrian can match up to Sneaky Smoothie at all.
I think they're close. I think it's close, but I give it to Cloud9. Also, the thing is, it's Echo Fox beat them once already. I mean, you're a Cloud9 fan. I don't see 1 week where you're not going to pick Cloud9 to win. And this would be the best opportunity for me to pick Echo Fox, tilt you a little bit, and then possibly get a win. But I also like Cloud9, so we're picking Cloud9. I think they have looked better. Like I said, in all their games, it's been more dominating. That's the main factor. Their games have been like, oh, Cloud9's going to win. Yep, Cloud9's going to win. Yep, Cloud9, they won. Echo Fox against Golden Guardians. Oh, Echo Fox smashed them. Game's over. Oh, Golden Guardians might win. They might win. Echo Fox wins. And that's happened in at least 3 out of the last 5 Echo Fox games that I've watched.
It's been the majority of all of them throughout the season.
So giving that one to Cloud9, and don't have to ask you, you're giving it to Cloud9.
Yes. So, interesting news. This is a little tidbit second. I don't know if you knew, but the TLDR for this next week, Sunday LCS games will be starting 2 hours earlier, with the countdown starting 2 hours and a half earlier, which, yes, us fucking amazing helps us out. I don't
know why they did it. Well,
they did it because
I don't know why they did it before. They did Saturdays because they had to wait for EU LCS to be done.
So they just wanted it to be
LCS channel.
They wanted it to be concurrent so that the Sunday was the same time as Saturday, but then it's like they realized in this article, actually, they talk about how they were dropping viewership. They had a lot of fan feedback saying, hey, man, I can't stay up that late on Sunday. I have work. I have school. I have shit to do on Monday.
Yeah.
So
and you don't have people keep watching for the NA LCS too because they just got done watching EU LCS. So you have EU viewers. NA LCS is on right after, so they watch that. Now they have to wait all day. They just go to sleep instead. If you're an EU fan, you're just going to go to sleep instead of waiting for NA. But if you're watching EU already, you're like, oh, NA's on right now? I guess I'll watch this too. But now they just go to sleep. They don't wait for it. So that is a very good thing because that's what I was like, why aren't they starting until late?
Well,
anyway?
EU's starting later on Saturdays, which is why, because actually countdown starts like right as the talk show for EU starts. The end of the day talk show or end of the week's talk show on Saturday afternoon for EU starts, and then it immediately goes into the countdown on Saturday. Yeah. But for Sunday, there's nothing in the morning. But if you wanted to watch,
that's
have to wait.
Well, They changed that too because they wanted EU to get more viewership, because last year EU LCS started at 8 a.m. my time, and I wasn't waking up to watch it.
No.
8 a.m., 9 a.m. So they made that later because they know their main audience is NA, and they're not going to be watching at that point in time.
For me in Central, and for a lot of the East Coast viewers, I wasn't finishing watching LCS on Sundays or even on Saturdays until like 9:30, 10 o'clock.
Yep.
That's when the games would start, 9:30, 10 o'clock. And then sometimes even 11 o'clock, and you're finishing up watching at midnight, and you're like, holy fucking shit. I need to go to bed.
Sunday ones?
Well, no, for the Saturday ones. Like, since we had some really long games in the first 2 weeks.
If the other ones go longer.
Yeah, and then like you end up starting that last game at 10 o'clock, and then by the time you're done with everything, it's like 10:40, almost 11 o'clock. You're going to bed at 11, 12.
Yeah, it was definitely getting late, so that's a really good pullback that they did.
Yeah, I'm actually really excited for that. So, moving on.
They get to start right away, so.
Fantasy LCS. I hope this is big enough for everybody. I tried to pull in a lot of data, but it's still rather small. So this is just kind of the overall Fantasy LCS. We have all the players. I think this is the top 20 players in fantasy points. Overall points, average points.
1 through 5 is all Echo Fox. That
is
ridiculous.
Then you get Jensen, Reckless Perks, Hansama, Wonder. Is that Licorice? Licorice is up there in the top 10. No. Sorry, top 15. Top 15.
Licorice he had a bunch of really good games. I didn't think Reckless was that high up on there.
Mm-hmm.
But Caps is way down there, and that's who I dropped. And I dropped Caps for Fly. So Fly only had 1 week.
But yeah, Fly just started. Of course he's not gonna have all these points. He just started.
And somebody in ours dropped Adrian. So
dumbass.
They dropped the number 5. Let me see. Did I keep him? Yep, I kept him. Over Vander.
I have this ranked up for overall points this split, and then it also evens out because overall points averages out to average points per game. So Alltech is pulling in the highest average points per game overall right now.
Yeah. Now the thing is, for this week, all the Echo Fox at the top is going against Cloud9. So if Cloud9 stomps them and they are a team who can do it, they're all going to drop, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's the hard part with putting Adrian in, because
and that's where you
that game.
And that's where you see down here at the bottom, you can see you got Jensen's in there, upper in the top 10. You got Licorice up there. Svenskerin's at the bottom of this list, but you also got Sneaky in there at I think about 22.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's very easy for those players to jump up.
Looks right. I guess the surprising person in there is Blank in mid lane for Rockhat, because Rockhat traditionally has had one of the worst teams in EU LCS, but they've been doing pretty well this season, so he's moved up. Same with Nuke Duck for Schalke. I think Nuke Duck's a good mid laner, but there are a lot of EUs on there more so. I mean, and here's the funny thing too. You got all of Echo Fox, 4 out of 5 of the Cloud9 members. Okay, better teams. You got Clutch Gaming, which is right there in the middle with Fabivin, because he's been demolishing.
Pole Belter's in there.
You have only 2 Team Liquids, and Liquid has been looking really good and having the fastest games, but you only have their mid and 80 carry.
2 TSM.
And so just having that Echo Fox is ridiculous. Having a jungle, because look at the other roles. They are the only 2
with the support,
with jungle and support in there,
well,
and then Sven at the bottom of the list.
Yeah, Sven's at the bottom. It's the only jungle.
But you also see TSM having 2 people in there in their middle of the pack team.
Yep.
So that's pretty big to see out of them.
Is that just because Echo Fox games are so bloody because they're almost losing the game, so they have to get more kills to win the game?
That's part of it, but you see Adrian's. If you look at Adrian's KD in most of them, he goes like 1-1 and 12, or even in those games that are really bloody, he only dies once or twice. His KD is nuts.
Oh yeah, damn.
I mean, look at his deaths.
It's 5.
Look at the
It's
death
5.
side.
It's right now. It's 5. His KD
Yeah.
K over A is
Well,
5.
you can look at his. They have the total deaths on here. He has 18 deaths total as a support. And you look at other people. I mean, Hooney's on there with 22 deaths. You got Perks with 19, Licorice with 19.
Phoenix
Yarnin
got
with
10.
I mean, 10 deaths is nothing on there. The average looks like it's about 10.
Yeah.
So I mean, like I said, Adrian's KD is really good, but look at the assists compared to everybody else.
That's true. That's true. But does that make up for the kills?
104 assists. That's why he's so high up there. 104 assists. The next closest is 81, and that's Dardoch. And that's why I was talking about Dardoch against Sven.
Mm-hmm.
Sven has 57 assists compared to Dardoch's 81. And Dardoch has only died 12 times. Sven's died 19. So that's why I was saying Dardoch has a lot more to do on his team than Sven. And Adrian at 104, like I said, the closest is another teammate. And then you look at the average on there is about 45. So he has over double the assists.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Adrian he's a good support. It's going to be a good game. Altec is number 1 on there.
Yeah.
But again, that's because their game's a little bit more bloody. So.
Number 1 and 2 are on my team. That's okay. I'm cool with that.
Well, I picked up Adrian, so.
But all right.
I got that Bjergsen on there too.
So that kind of that wraps up my graphics for the week. Is there anything else that you wanted to talk about? Anything that strikes you as odd?
I mean, we had good week of League of Legends, all the upsets. I see it to continue to go. I think all the teams in NA are a lot closer than you think. Like I said, Cloud9's the only one that stands out. All the other teams, it looks like I don't know who could win this one.
Yep.
No idea. Whoever Cloud9 goes against, it seems like it weighs in Cloud9's favor, and that's not just because I'm a Cloud9 fan. It might be like a little bit like that for you, but I am a Cloud9 fan, but not to a point where I'm gonna say like last season. Last season, I'm not gonna say that Cloud9's gonna win over TSM. You know what I mean? But this season it's different. They're just that much better of a team, and same with Echo Fox. I do like Echo Fox, but I'm gonna say Echo Fox is losing to a lot of different peoples, or it's gonna be really close games. So it's gonna be exciting to see. I hope that it gets a little bit easier to call these as the time goes on. But it's also nice to see really good games. But
it's also fun to call. I find it fun to call when you're like, oh man, I really don't know. It makes you really think about like, oh wait, hold on.
Yeah,
how can they win?
Yeah, exactly. It makes the games a little bit more fun to watch. It's not fun watching a game where you know 100% somebody's gonna win.
Yep.
So
yep.
I kind of want to say like this, but I do want to see 3 people who stand out above everybody else because I want NA to do well at Worlds too. And if you have all the teams are that close, that's been NA's problem the last 2-3 years. They're all so close, nobody's standing out so much, and then they don't perform at Worlds because there's not that SKT, there's not that Longzhu Gaming that just like, yup, they are better than every other person in Korea, send them over to Worlds. With us, it's like, even this season, you take the top 3 right now, C9, Echo Fox, and Liquid, and you're like, man, they could lose to anybody else in NA. How are they going to go beat the number 1 team in Korea or in China?
But does that mean that NA's as a scene is getting better, or does that just mean that our teams are just stagnant?
I think they're stagnant and close. They've had the same performance the last 3 years in Worlds.
TSM has. Cloud9
no,
always.
All teams have one team go through from the starting stage and then lose the first series in the knockout stage.
Yeah, but I mean, Cloud9 looked a lot better in this last one against Team WE. And
yeah,
they lost.
They have a different team, and I don't think WE's that good of a team, honestly.
They lost the previous year. They lost to Samsung Galaxy, who ended up winning the whole entire thing.
No, they didn't.
Or wait, no, sorry. No, they went to
2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
They went to
the finals against SKT, and they took it to a Game 5. So, yeah. I mean, can you really fault Cloud9 for losing to them at that point? Because they were such a competitive team at that year. But I definitely say they should have won last year.
That's what I'm saying. They should win we
WE.
want them to win, right?
Yeah,
if
they should have won.
More dominant, if they were more dominant, they're still third place, had to go through the gauntlet to get to Worlds, had a good showing at Worlds, but they lose to the team that goes to the finals. If you're more dominant and beat everybody and have really good games, then you're gonna look at C9 against Samsung not as, oh, I hope C9 can hold on and maybe put on a good show. You're gonna look at it like C9 better win this because they're so dominant.
Yep.
And that's how you want it to be for NA. For the LCS, for competitive league, I like how it is right now because it is fun to do that. But for national stage, you want that standout team that you're like, they are so good, they beat everybody in NA so bad, they should have a really good chance going to Worlds.
Yep.
And that's how you really want it to be. Just like you look at something like basketball where you have a dominant team in your league that beats everybody. Say like the East is really weak usually, right? So you have a really dominant team in the East and they end up winning the finals, and then you have the teams in the West who are all a lot closer. They have a lot harder time through the playoffs. They have to go to 7 games. They have to do a bunch of other stuff, and then they get to the finals and they lose to the team in the East who had shit competition, but they win because they're used to winning. You know what I mean? And that's the same here. Like if you're just used to winning, if you're C9 and you go 17-1 in this first split, 18-0 in the next one, then you're looking at C9 and Worlds. You're like, oh man, they're gonna demolish over a team that's like, we went 12-10, or there's 36 games. We went 20-16, but we're the best team because everybody else is so close. We lose a lot. We have to go through the gauntlet. We get there, we just hope we have a good show.
Introspectively, though, I've heard a lot of teams, they say that there's not a lot you can learn from losing, and it's actually better to have a more competitive split because at that point you're always wanting to grow, you're always introspectively looking at yourself. Because although you can, and I know Reaper said Cloud9 says Reaper's a very good coach at doing this, you can try to think about, hey, what can we do better in those games that you win, but it's fairly hard. Like, as a coach, you can say, yeah, you guys fucked up on this. But in the player perspective, you're like, but we won the game. I don't really care. I mean, we won the game. I'll do it the same. Like, you're not, of course they're saying,
yeah,
of course,
I see what you're
like
saying.
That mental block. They have that mental block where they're saying, we won the game. So mentally, you're just like, yeah, I can do the same thing. So I think losing is required to get better, even in life. Gosh, this got really deep right there. But yeah.
No, I agree with you, but I don't mean like having a perfect season. They've already lost their game to have some with, but just having a dominating season is what I'm trying to say. Not where you just you're winning, but you're at the top with quite a few losses. A dominating season, even if they go like 32-4 or 30-6, something like that, that's a dominating season. That's something they can go through. And I mean, TSM kind of has done that the last couple of years, but they just flop at Worlds anyway because of some mental. I don't know why they're flopping at Worlds, but
because it's free SM, man.
Cloud9 usually does better at Worlds.
Yep.
And that's with them having mediocre seasons, like losing to a bunch of worse teams and different stuff. So they, like I said, they don't have that confidence. They're like, you know what, let's play, do well, whatever. But I don't think they have that big time confidence of like, yo, we're the best team. Like TSM and CLG are ahead of us last couple of years. Let's do the best we can. If C9 gets that mentality of, we're here, we're also the best team in NA, let's go beat these dudes up. Like, I think that'll be a lot better for NA in Worlds than TSM going and thinking they're the best and flopping. Yeah. I think C9 already has a better mindset because they have been the third best team the last 3 years. So I want to see them have a dominating season, basically, and then do well at Worlds.
Alrighty. Well, with that, I think that's all we have for this week. And hopefully this has made you really excited for the games if you are watching. Because I am really fucking excited. Like this week, like it's like cool. I'm gonna see some cool games. C9 should win these games, but then it's like every other game you're like, ooh, holy shit. Let me get some popcorn. Let's get that Michael Jackson meme going. Damn.
Be a lot of good ones. And then the thing is, like last week there were all the upsets, but I didn't see them as potential upsets. I thought they were just good. But this week there are a lot, like Golden Guardians against Team Liquid. It's a very potential upset, so that's exciting. So
Yep. All right. On that, I'm going to close this out.
we'll see you guys all next week.
Yep. See you guys next week.
The perspective, and we'll go over the games that we just talked about and check out next week. And we are also going to get this upcoming week. We will have our tier lists for each role and power rankings for top, mid, jungle, AD carry, and support. And we'll go into those into a little bit of detail, and we'll get that done next week. So see you guys then.
Always trying to improve content. Let us know if you guys see anything that we can improve on, and we will try our best. Hey guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you very much for watching. Tune in next week for the next episode.